There's only so much space at the top, y'all, right? There's only in spite of, I know what they're teaching, those of you who are economics majors, they're teaching you the economy is not a zero-sum game. But fundamentally it is, because there's only one Earth, we're not getting off, we can't all be rich. Eventually, some people will always have more money than other people. So therefore, if they're competing, and if they manage, let's go this way, right? If all of their people down here manage up here, that means what's going on now, right? That means this. He's coming down here. Because there's only so many resources to go around. You can only have so many Range Rovers. I know like your family has 3, but you know, every family cannot have 3. If all of their families had 3 Range Rovers also, and all of their families have 3, I mean, at some point it stops. So tell me how we can make this thing fair.
So you brought up in the beginning of the class, I think affirmative action is like a really great step towards that. I mean, you're creating opportunity for people with more diverse backgrounds, not just white people, so, yeah.
Okay, so affirmative action is fair. So someone tell me what affirmative action is.
So affirmative action is just like, it's a soluble solution to an insoluble problem. So
wait, it's a what?
It's a soluble solution to an insoluble problem. So It's just like, it's a problem that can't really be solved. We can just try and take steps towards redefining it. Because like ultimately it's like, we're talking education here. So you'd have to scrap the whole education system that goes back to public schools in poor like socioeconomic places, kids that aren't receiving that education, that funding, and then it's like, at the end of the day, you said there are X amount of resources to go around, so now we have to look at privatizing education.
All right, okay. All right, that's cool. All right, there's a start. Somebody else. Who else wants to kick it out? Anybody? What do you think? Dude, the idea is, how do you break the cycle? They both take the SAT. For him to compete with him, okay, at the more elite schools, he has to score 100 points higher on average on his SAT exam than he does. Because in the United States, we've come to this place where at the elite institutions, there are too many Asians. And like people that look like him, it's like, it's cool, and we want a fair and equitable system, but what's going on is there are too many Asians who are coming in, doing really well on these exams, and taking all these spots from everybody else. And so listen, we don't even have enough space for white people. So in order for you to compete with him at the more equitable schools, you got to score 100 points higher on your SATs. This is how it is. This is affirmative action for white people. Like, you didn't know that, right? So, okay, you didn't know that all these Asian people who you see as in your classes, this isn't so true, and this isn't really true here at Penn State, because we're not one of the more elite schools, Carter, in spite of fact, I know that the cheering team thinks that we are, but we're really not, all right? And so, we're not one of the more elite schools, but if we were, there's no white person who thinks like, oh yeah, I got affirmative action in here, because, all these Asians had to score so much higher than I did. The problem is, when you're up here, you don't see it as affirmative action. Because when I'm up here, like, I'm working really hard, y'all. Like, I pull in 50 and 60-hour weeks. I'm going to attribute everything I do to my hard work. I really do work 50 and 60-hour weeks. And so, like, and I always have. And so I'm just like thinking, yeah, well, I'm here because of my hard work. I never imagined any of the benefits that I got, like from my skin color or the fact that I'm a man. Dude, I can only teach this. Dude, if I was a woman, I could never teach this class the way I do. Because y'all would come at, especially the men, but also the women, you would come at me so hard. Stuff that I say, how can you say that? What right do you have to say that? The stories I hear from my female colleagues, not just here at Penn State, from all across the country, the ways they get challenged by students, the stories I hear, it's astounding to me, and how rarely I really get challenged. with things that I do. And so part of the reason I can do this class and I can be successful as I am, however successful that is because I'm a man. And definitely because I'm white. Definitely. Dude, if I gave today's lecture as a black man, if Maurice and I just switched bodies and I gave today's class just as a black man, y'all like, man, come on. You just would be like, nah, I'm not buying this. This is just black people trying to make excuses for the fact that they're on the bottom. Yeah. Work harder.